This episode of The Startup Life is sponsored by SaveTheChildren.org. Startup Nation, Save the Children believes every child deserves a future. In the United States and around the world, they work every day to give children a healthy start in life, the opportunity to learn, and protection from harm. They deliver lasting results for millions of children, including those hardest to reach. They do whatever it takes for children every day, and in times of crisis, transforming their lives and the future we share. Startup Nation, right now, the coronavirus is the biggest global health crisis in our lifetime. It threatens children in every way. COVID-19 has already left many children without caregivers, out of school, and exposed to violence and exploitation. Child poverty is rising. With your support, we can help children in unsafe households and help support distance learning in the face of school closures. Here are some ways your support can make a difference. For just $5, you can buy a baby's first book, providing comfort and inspiring lifelong learning. And for $25, you can serve a nutritious breakfast and lunch to 5 out-of-school children in need. And there's many other ways you can help support Startup Nation. So go to SaveTheChildren.org/SaveKids or www.SaveTheChildren.org/SaveKids. So if you're ready to make a difference, Startup Nation, remember SaveTheChildren.org. Make the change for children. This episode of The Startup Life is tucked in nice and tight by Phillip Stein and the Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet. Startup Nation, getting quality sleep is super important, especially for those of us as entrepreneurs. I know for me, if I don't get enough quality sleep, not only do I not perform well while working in my business or exercising, but also it really affects my mental health, and that doubt starts to creep in. And that's the last thing we want as entrepreneurs. Also, with everything going on, good quality sleep is important to repair the body and support a good immune system. And that is why, Startup Nation, I wear the Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet. The Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet uses natural frequency technology to reinforce our biomagnetic field to improve deep sleep, length of sleep, and overall sleep quality. This helps produce a healthier heart, regulate weight control, and help strengthen the immune system, which helps destroy bacteria and viruses. Right now, when you go to phillipstein.com, use code SLEEPEZ and you will get 10% off the entire store. That's promo code SLEEP, capital E, capital Z. So if you are ready to be more productive in leading your business, go with the Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet, proven to be natural and safe to give you a better, deeper sleep. Payoff.com sponsors this episode of The Startup Life. Startup Nation, you've tried balance transfers and budgeting, but high interest rates and unrelenting bill cycles make it almost impossible to get out of credit card debt on your own. Instead of another new savings technique, you need a clear path out of debt. And that's what a payoff loan can do. A payoff loan is a personal loan backed by member-centric credit unions designed to help you pay off your credit cards. With rates as low as 5.99% APR and loan amounts up to $35,000 with no hidden fees and personal customer service support from Payoff to help you reach your financial goals. Some of the benefits of a payoff loan may also include a personal credit score boost, 1 monthly payment, and savings from lower interest rates. Go to payoff.com/the startup life to learn more. Checking loan rates won't affect your credit score. And if you listen to the replay on the podcast, the link is there in the show notes. Try something new. Pay off your credit card debt with Payoff. NMLS ID number 1396805. Now, all applicants may qualify. Loans only available within the United States. Loan is not available in all states. Payoff works with lending partners who originate the loans. Additional terms, conditions, and eligibility requirements may apply. More information is available at payoff.com/the startup life.
It's time to be about that life. The Startup Life. Here's your host, Dominic Lawson.
All right, Startup Nation, so I hope you're ready to receive some value today. My name is Dominic Lawson, and this is The Startup Life, the show for entrepreneurs and career-minded professionals. And today, Startup Nation, we have a very special guest today. Now, you've been hearing me talk about amazing partners at Phillip Stein. You saw that we did the unboxing for the sleep bracelet. And you're going to hear quite soon, actually, my 30-day review of the sleep bracelet, where we used the sleep bracelet, the Phillip Stein sleep bracelet, for 30 days, and we actually did a journal for each day that we woke up. So we're going to share all of that with you in very soon. But now we're going to talk to our very special guest. He is the president and co-founder of Phillip Stein, a U.S.-based wellness lifestyle brand and one of the world's leaders in wellness you can wear, delivering timeless watches and accessories that optimize health and harmony to help patrons and feel at their best. The brand has been, once again, Startup Nation, the brand has been endorsed by Oprah on her Oprah's Favorite Things segment. So, you know, if Oprah says it's great, you know it must be great. He is our really good friend, the co-founder of Phillip Stein, Will Stein. Will, how's it going, my man?
I'm doing great, Dominic. Thank you for having me on your show.
No worries, no worries. Really quickly, are you ready, Will, to pour some knowledge into Startup Nation today?
I will try to do my best. I hope I can excite the Startup Nation about it.
Oh, you're going to do just fine. You're going to do just fine. So, Will, if you would, just kind of share with us your origin story and your background and how you got started in the entrepreneurial lifestyle.
Yeah, so basically, I was born in Germany, and I worked in the management. Before I worked in management, I went to university in Paris, actually, outside of Paris. And I studied hotel management, and I worked in the catering industry at the airline catering of Lufthansa. This is, of course, a huge company. And, you know, shortly after a few years, I realized that corporate life is not for me. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I have many ideas. I want to implement ideas. I want to do things and move things. And when you work in a big company, in a big corporation like that, you know, you will always hear the words, hey, man, you know, it's great that you are so excited and enthusiastic, but we've been doing things here for 20 years, you know, the same way. And, you know, it's going to be like that. And, you know, so I was very limited in my job, and I said, okay, I got to start something new. And at that time, also, I basically started a new life because I lived in Germany at that time, but then I moved to the U.S.
Right.
And I met my wife, and my wife and we both were very, you know, healthy, tried to lead a very healthy lifestyle.
Of course.
And we were then introduced, you know, by coincidence to scientists and people who taught us and told us about natural frequencies, which I didn't know anything about. And that was actually the beginning. We got more and more interested in it. We read about it. We read about Schumann resonance and all of these things, which we're going to talk about later. But this was actually the start, because, you know, my goal was always to build a company and not be stuck in a corporate office, but really fulfill my dream and use my creativity and you know, and enthusiasm to build something and hopefully create something for people to benefit from. And I think that's how we started.
And I love that you shared that with me, because a lot of times when we talk to entrepreneurs, they talk about the story and what drives them to, no, not just only to start a company, but the type of company that they start. And when you talked about, you know, always want to be fit and healthy and stuff like that, I think that's super important. So I appreciate you sharing that, Will.
Absolutely.
Another thing I noticed about you is that, you know, and the company as well, is that, like, not only are products and stuff that you sell and create or whatever, not only do they serve a purpose, but they're also beautifully designed. Kind of talk about that a little bit, if you.
Yeah, I think that was my wife's touch. My wife has always had a very good eye for luxury and for beauty. So that's why you know, we created different designs and different feelings of our product. And whenever we created something, the importance was that it not only had our technology, but that it also was made with, you know, the best quality material, and of course with a design which is attractive to people. And you know, the first product we actually came out with was our watch. I know we're going to talk about the sleep bracelet, but really the first product we came out with was a watch. And one of the things we said, you know, there are so many watches out there in the market, and, you know, how can you make a difference? Of course, the difference was our technology, but on the other hand, also we wanted to stand out in terms of design. So we created what we call today the signature watch, which is a dual time zone watch with a kind of an 8-shaped dial. And that was really and until today is the product which put us on the market, which really stood out. And, people from afar, you could tell that they were wearing a signature watch. And that's what we wanted to create, something which stood out. And people from afar could tell that this is a Phillip Stein watch. Or when you browse through magazines and you see celebrities, etc., that this is a Phillip Stein watch. So that was really my wife's, doing the design and the beauty of our products.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And Startup Nation, he's absolutely right. Phillip Stein does have a very unique kind of style to it, a certain type of flavor to it, if you would. It definitely does set itself apart just from a style point of view. But I want to really dig into the technology of it, because that's honestly, Startup Nation, the real differentiator. And it's in not only the watch, but also the sleep bracelet and all the other accessories that they have there at Phillip Stein. And if you want to check out Phillip Stein and all the accessories that they have, go to phillipstein.com. If you're listening to the replay on the podcast, we have a link there in the show notes for easy access. And if you're ready to purchase, I want you to put in promo code SLEEPEZ. That's SLEEP, capital E, capital Z, for 10% off your purchase there on the website, phillipstein.com. So let's kind of dive into it. So when we're hearing about Phillip Stein, we're hearing about this natural frequency technology, right? And I think that's honestly, in a very crowded wearable space, let's be honest, in a very crowded wearable space, I think this is what the differentiator, the unique value that we're always talking about here with Startup Nation is for Phillip Stein. So kind of talk about the natural frequency technology and, why it gives you that competitive advantage.
Absolutely. So the natural frequency technology, as the word says, it's based on frequencies and on the natural frequencies.
Sure.
We're basically surrounded by frequencies all the time. We're surrounded by natural frequencies, which are created by the earth, but we're also surrounded by man-made frequencies. And in fact, our own bodies are we're frequency beings as well. Mm-hmm. So our body generates a biomagnetic field, okay? And this is actually generated by mostly the heart and the brain because they are electric, okay? So it creates a biomagnetic field. And science has found out that the human beings, when they're in a state of calm or asleep, their biomagnetic field resonates differently compared to when they're awake or moving around or talking like we're doing it right now. So what we've been able to do is, with our natural frequency technology, we've been able to capture unique frequency signatures which are associated with, for example, sleep. Mm-hmm. And then we transfer them into basically an informational disk, which is inside of our products.
Right.
And when you wear this now, then it basically harmonizes. These frequencies are harmonized with the body's own biomagnetic field, promoting better sleep, feeling better, being more balanced, etc. Now, this is it's a long explanation, but to give you a very easy analogy to understand, I always use the analogy of the tuning fork. Most of the people know what a tuning fork is.
Absolutely.
So when we take a tuning fork and we strike one tuning fork and we hold it next to the other tuning fork, what happens is the vibration and the frequencies travel over to the other tuning fork as well, the receiving tuning fork, right?
Right.
So in this case, our bodies are basically the tuning fork which is struck, because our bodies have the power. We have the electricity, we have the brain electricity, the heart rate, etc., etc. So this is the tuning fork. The receiving tuning fork, which is a passive device, is our product on the wrist, whether it's the watch or the sleep bracelet. Now, what's very important is why can we create these kind of biological effects? Because when the tuning forks are now vibrating in together, they basically they create a co-resonance, meaning one shares the resonance of the others and harmonizes it. And that's what basically our product does. It optimizes our own biomagnetic field.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing all of that. And Startup Nation, I'll be transparent, and I've already shared this with Will. When we received our Phillip Stein sleep bracelet, we had some skeptical. We were a bit skeptical as well, but I can tell you from firsthand knowledge, after the very first night of using it, I could tell a difference. And as I've used it over the past 30 days and beyond, I feel more rested. I feel more. I've been more productive. And stuff like that. And my wife has noticed as well. And Startup Nation, when you go to the phillipstein.com press page, and you'll see that, there's many articles seeing that it's clinically proven to kind of help you with your wellness and stress and stuff like that. And we're talking from the New York Times, we're talking about AP and multiple outlets, sharing that it's been clinically proven that it helps in that regard. So Will, I appreciate you sharing all of that for sure.
So maybe one thing I want to tell the Startup Nation also, because credibility is a very important point.
Absolutely, yes.
And, how do you create credibility? Of course, over the years, we've had so many testimonials of people like you experiencing the benefits of the technology. Mm-hmm. But that was not enough for us. We wanted to also not only have credibility in terms of anecdotal testimonials, but we wanted to also have more, let's say, scientific validation. That's why we went out. We, spent time and effort and funds to basically go out there and see if there is a possibility to do a study which is statistically significant. And that was always the importance, especially in the scientific world. When you do preliminary studies, you always get as a response, that was a preliminary study, but it's not really statistically significant. So we really went out there. We did a statistically significant study with the University of Jacksonville, and the study results were so profound that we went out there and we got it published by a journal called the International Sleep Science Journal. It's an independent peer-reviewed journal. And our study is what they call the gold standard of studies in science. It's what they call a double-blind placebo-controlled trial. So where people receive the real product with the frequency technology, and then a product which looks exactly the same, but it doesn't have the frequency technology. And then they compare the placebo to the actual product. And if the actual product turns out better results, then this is, of course, very, very important and very positive for the end result. Absolutely. That's what happened with us.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing that, because we always hear that phrase clinically proven, right? But you kind of, open the doors to kind of really go deeper to kind of show what that looks like to our audience. And so I really appreciate that. So you have the Phillip Stein, watch, and you have the sports bracelets that's kind of used by people who are active. We have many people in Startup Nation who are active. They like to work out before they dive into their business. But like I said, we really use the sleep bracelet. But Will, if you would, before we kind of dive into that, just kind of share the importance of, when you're running a business and you're very active in your career, why it's important to get a good night's rest. Because we hear many people say, I'll sleep later, or, sleep is for the weak or something like that. But kind of share with us the importance of good sleep.
That's a great question. It's a great point, Dominic, because I think most people neglect that, especially, when you look back, maybe 10 years ago, people, they prided themselves of being a workaholic. Right. But I think this attitude has changed, thankfully. Right. People are now looking for ways to be able to repair, themselves, and to rest in order to be more productive. And that's exactly what sleep does.
Absolutely.
Sleep helps to repair the body. It's almost like, when you fill a glass with water, and you can only fill it as much until it, overflows. So what this does is when you sleep at night, and it repairs the body, and it improves the immune system and all of this, it's like basically pouring some of the water, all these toxins, all these things which we accumulate on a daily basis, all the stressors and all of that we accumulate on a daily basis. And sleep is basically the pouring out of the water, so that the cup is empty or half empty, so that you can get again more information and being less stressed. So sleep is a very, very valuable or daily activity or nightly activity, because also what it does is not, it doesn't only lower your stress levels, but also it builds your immune system. It creates a strong immune system, as I said before.
Right.
You mentioned already productivity.
Right.
People don't know, for example, that it also helps to reduce the risk for diabetes. And when people sleep better, they also tend to eat better and less. A better overall mental health is definitely one of the important benefits of a good night's sleep. So there are many things, and for those of you at Startup Nation who want to be active and who believe in exercising and building and toning muscles, a good night's sleep actually helps to tone muscles better, because when your body is more repaired, you can also build muscles then better the next day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad you pointed out that mental health piece, because I know for me that when I don't get enough sleep, not only does my productivity goes down, obviously I'm more tired, but that mental health part really gets to me. That's probably the number one thing that I suffer from when I'm not getting enough rest, Startup Nation, when I'm tired. It's that mental health, that doubt. And that's when we're entrepreneurs and building our businesses and climbing the corporate ladder, that doubt is the last thing we need. Right.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. That's the last thing we need. And Startup Nation, we've talked about many of the attributes of good sleep: more focus, mood boost, healthier heart. That improved health is super important, especially when we're talking about COVID-19, the coronavirus, helping anything that helps support a good, immune system is vital and key. And which is why I highly endorse the Phillip Stein sleep bracelet. Once again, you can get that from phillipstein.com. Use promo code SLEEPEZ, sleep, capital E, capital Z, for 10% off your purchase. Now, I want to ask you this, and I know that, your wife is kind of the designer. She's the creative part of, the casings and stuff like that. But I want to ask you this, especially when it comes to the sleep bracelet, because once again, it's a beautiful casing, and you also have the straps are interchangeable. I believe there's 6 straps that you can have for the sleep bracelet, and they come in different colors and things of that nature. Why was that important, from the beautiful casing and the different sleep straps? Especially if I'm asleep, I'm not looking at it. I'm not somewhere showing it off in a fashion style. But why was that important for you guys there at Phillip Stein to kind of make sure that it's still elegant even while you're asleep?
Well, first of all, regarding the strap, and I think when you put it on, you might have felt it right away.
Absolutely.
We call this strap the pajama strap.
Fair enough.
Because it's so soft and you hardly feel it on the wrist. So that was very important for us to have a strap which is very comfortable, that you don't even feel at night.
Gotcha.
The other thing about the strap is we put like perforated holes inside so that the skin can breathe at night. And then the interchangeability is very important, because if you wear this sleep bracelet regularly, and when I say regularly, I'm talking about every night.
Right.
obviously, after several months or maybe a year, it might not look so good anymore because people tend to perspirate at night, and
Right.
so it might not look so good anymore. And then that's why we made a very simple, quick release mechanism so that you can take the strap off and you put on a new strap, and just to look different for your wife or your girlfriend, we added some colors there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to have a product which is on the one hand functional, on the other hand very comfortable, and the other point is it should still be within the standard and design philosophy of Phillip Stein.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that, for sure. And one quick question about, your wearables and your accessories and stuff like that, because one of the things I saw a article or interview where you were featured, I believe it was Entrepreneur Magazine. Yes, it was Entrepreneur Magazine. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, to where, you're in a very, crowded, wearable space and stuff like that. And you talked about how your differentiation is the natural frequency technology. But talk about how, you say that most wearables are just there for kind of monitoring purposes. And
exactly. So here we are very, very different from the wearable technology. Mm-hmm. Actually, when we started our company in 2002, the word wearable technology didn't even exist. Wearable technology only became, popular maybe, 5 or 7 years ago, with Fitbit and Jawbone and all the other smart technologies. But as the word says it already, the smart technologies, they monitor your performance. Right. They monitor your sleep. Our product does not monitor anything. Our product really induces or helps to promote and optimizes your sleep. It optimizes your energy levels. It optimizes your alertness. It optimizes your mood, all of these things. So we're very different. We're not a monitoring device or a tracking device. We actually help to improve your state of being.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing all of that, for sure. And once again, Startup Nation, if you want to check out that website, it's phillipstein.com. Use promo code SleepEZ, sleep, capital E, capital Z, to get that 10% off your next sleep bracelet. Trust me, Startup Nation, you want this in your entrepreneurial toolkit, because getting that really, not just sleep, but quality sleep. Think about it like food, right? You don't want just a regular sandwich. You want all the fixings on the sandwich, right? This is the same with your sleep. You want a good quality, deep sleep, and I highly recommend the Phillip Stein sleep bracelet.
Dominic, you made just a very, very good point, and I want to stress that again to the Startup Nation. You just mentioned quality sleep, and that is really the importance. I'm sure many of your listeners, and probably you as well, people who sleep many hours but then are still tired the next day.
Absolutely.
They don't feel energized or anything like that. Well, that has really to do with the quality of sleep. I'm not talking about now that you can have 3 hours of good quality sleep and you're great. No, you still need a certain duration. You should have between 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. But if you only have 20 minutes of deep sleep, that's not good, because maybe you're too anxious at night, etc. It's your subconscious working. But that's why it's important that you have a good quality sleep, and that's what our product really promotes: a good quality sleep. And when you have a good quality sleep, you have a better mood, you have better productivity, all these other benefits which I mentioned and you mentioned before, that comes with a good quality sleep.
Absolutely.
And maybe one more point,
sure.
And I think that's very, I just read it actually now. It was on the Sleep Foundation website, National Sleep Foundation. They did a polling And they saw that only 10% of Americans prioritize sleep. And I think, we really need to increase that percentage, because sleep, especially now with all the things are going on, with, the stressors, the financial stresses, especially for small businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a dry cleaner or what have you, all of these people will have, external stressors like financial stress with investors, stress with this, stress with that. So sleep is a very important part of it. And right now, as I said, it's only 10% of the Americans who prioritize sleep. So we actually need to prioritize sleep in order to perform better.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing all of that for sure. Like I said, I know I'm getting a deeper sleep, because my wife says, now I'm drooling more when I sleep. That's when I know I'm getting some good sleep. So there's that. But let me ask you.
I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing.
Fair enough. All I know is that it's an indication I'm getting quality sleep, Will. So that's all I know.
Okay.
All right, Startup Nation. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We got to pay some bills. Once again, my name is Dominic Lawson, and you're listening to The Startup Life. This episode of The Startup Life is tucked in nice and tight by Phillip Stein and the Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet. Startup Nation, getting quality sleep is super important, especially for those of us as entrepreneurs. I know for me, if I don't get enough quality sleep, not only do I not perform well while working in my business or exercising, but also it really affects my mental health, and that doubt starts to creep in. And that's the last thing we want as entrepreneurs. Also, with everything going on, good quality sleep is important to repair the body and support a good immune system. And that is why, Startup Nation, I wear the Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet. The Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet uses natural frequency technology to reinforce our biomagnetic field to improve deep sleep, length of sleep, and overall sleep quality. This helps produce a healthier heart, regulate weight control, and help strengthen the immune system, which helps destroy bacteria and viruses. Right now, when you go to phillipstein.com, use code SLEEPEZ and you will get 10% off the entire store. That's promo code SLEEP, capital E, capital Z. So if you are ready to be more productive in leading your business, go with the Phillip Stein Sleep Bracelet, proven to be natural and safe to give you a better, deeper sleep. This episode of The Startup Life is brought to you by the Risk Management Society. Startup Nation, the Risk Management Society, or RIMS, is a global organization dedicated to the profession of risk management. For nearly 60 years, RIMS has delivered the latest strategies and resources that allow risk professionals to grow, innovate, and succeed in any business. RIMS works with industry leaders to produce content and online training that business professionals turn to. Topics include business continuity, cyber risk, risk management techniques, the fundamentals of insurance, and more. There is also a private members-only site where people can discuss sensitive issues and get honest answers. Members have been leaning on each other as we all navigate this global pandemic. If you're concerned about the safety of your employees and the sustainability of your organization, you need the resources and connections RIMS provides. Learn more at go.rims.org/startup life. If you're listening to the replay on the podcast, we have a link there in the show notes. You can save 25% off a year-long membership. So if you're ready to get the resources and strategies you need to manage risk, go with RIMS and join their global network of over 10,000 members across more than 60 countries. Support for The Startup Life is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Startup Nation, personal grooming is super important, not only from a hygiene standpoint, but also from a confidence one as well. And that is why you need to have a tight haircut and, well, a nice groomed undercarriage as well. And when doing that, you don't want to use the same razor, do you? That's just absurd. And this is why our friends at Manscaped have given you another option. Introducing the all-new Lawnmower 3.0 by Manscaped. This lightweight and waterproof razor features precision, engineered blades for safe trimming in sensitive areas, and a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. Ladies, Father's Day is just around the corner, and this will make a perfect gift for that guy on the go. Use code The Startup Life in all caps for 20% off and free shipping on your brand new Lawnmower 3.0 at manscaped.com. We have a link there in the show notes for easy access if you listen to the replay on the podcast. And while you're there, be sure to check out all the other products from manscaped.com as well. So for proper manscaping without the fear of hurting anything, go with Manscaped. Trust me, your family of jewels will thank you. All right, Startup Nation, welcome back as we continue our conversation with today's guest here on The Startup Life. But anyway, let me ask you this. Let's talk about the company a little bit, because I also read that when you're starting a company, or when, in your company, Phillip Stein, that you don't really believe in the hierarchy of things where people have to go through this person, and this person to kind of get to you and talk to you and communicate with you. And I've actually noticed that as well. One of my good people there at Phillip Stein has been Jeremy, who kind of helped set up this conversation and set up our relationship and stuff like that. And it just seems like he speaks very highly of you. And I think that speaks to the culture of Phillip Stein. Just kind of talk about that approach, the culture you have there at Phillip Stein and with your teammates there.
I think only if you have a good team, you will be able to build a company and become successful. Mm-hmm. And, you need to have people who not only believe in your product, not only believe in the philosophy of the company, not only believe in you, but they also need to believe in themselves. So when somebody believes in themselves and you give them, let's say, the authority to do certain things, to create certain things, to speak up for themselves, to come up with new ideas, then they feel confident. And in our company, most of the people there are, 10 years or 12 years in the company,
right?
And that in my opinion, it shows you that people feel comfortable where they are. They like their job. They believe in what they're doing, and it's very important that they feel that they have a voice and that they have something to say and that they have a position where they can also change things. And that's what we do. We listen to employees. We listen to our customers. We always have an open ear, because only if you have an open ear and open eyes, you will be able to innovate. So I think that's a very important part of our business culture.
I hear that. Thank you for sharing all of that, for sure. And I imagine with something like this in the wearable space, we talk about using that unique value, that differentiator from everybody else. But what are some of those other tools that you use to kind of help sell the brand, from influencers to advertising, using social media? Just kind of talk about that, how you get the word out about how Phillip Stein and the natural frequency technology is the wellness tool you need in your kit, in your toolkit.
Yeah. Of course, when we started, there was no social media. There was,
Right.
There was internet, but there was no social media, etc. At that time, it was a little bit more, I would say, easy, because, there were certain magazines where you would advertise, whether it's Oprah magazine or Vanity Fair or etc. And if you had a unique product, people went and they ripped out the page of the magazine and they went to the retail store and said, this is the watch I want. Do you have it in stock? So today there are so many different platforms, and we are bombarded by information from all these different platforms. So it's a little bit more complicated. So what we do is, of course, we have our social media. But one of the things which we believe has been, from day one, actually, the most efficient marketing tool is the word of mouth, the testimonials. Because if a product speaks for itself, we don't really need to speak for it in terms of advertisement. So the product itself creates an incredible word of mouth for us. So, for example, let's say you've been wearing the sleep bracelet, and I'm sure within your circle of friends and families, there are other people who might have problems sleeping, or maybe they sleep well, but they could always have a better quality sleep. Mm-hmm. So, you recommend it and you talk about it, and, then people go and look at the site, etc. So that's one thing. And on the other hand, we also have ambassadors. One of our ambassadors you mentioned already in the athletic world is Christian Taylor. And Christian Taylor is a big fan of Phillip Stein. He wears our watches on a daily basis. He wears our sport bracelet when he trains and when he competes, and he wears our sleep bracelet at night. And Christian Taylor, just for the Startup Nation to know, is probably the last 5 years the best and most successful triple jumper in the world.
Right.
He won, I think, 3 Olympic gold medals. He's won 3 or 4 world championships. So as a top athlete like that, you constantly need to have the right attitude. You need to have the right level of performance. And he told me, Christian, that the sleep bracelet has really changed a lot in his life, because he feels more alert in the morning. He feels that he has more energy and can focus better on his training, and he performs better. So the sleep bracelet and also the sport bracelet, which he wears even during competition, has really made a big change in his life.
I hear that.
So that's where what we do in terms of marketing now, because of the new situation of COVID-19. I've had time to sit down and think, how can we reach our customers today, and how can we incentivize our customers? Because our business has been based on the retail business. We were, our product sells in retail, on airlines, on cruise ships, etc. All of these distribution channels, which are basically dead at the moment. So we thought about, how can we create an excitement amongst our customers and future customers. So we created something which we call the Phillip Stein Club. And the Phillip Stein Club is a loyalty program. A loyalty program where, on the one hand, when you are a club member, you can purchase the product at great discounts for yourself. But also, when you recommend the product to others, we, Phillip Stein, will give the club member a commission for their efforts. And this is something brand new, which we just started 2 weeks ago. And, everyone on Sleep Nation, Startup Nation, not Sleep Nation,
gotcha.
should check it out. It's the Phillip Stein Club on our website, and the Phillip Stein Club on the bottom of the website.
Absolutely. Well, when they're not listening to the Startup Life, when they go to sleep, they are Sleep Nation, I guess. So that works out. It's just fine. It's totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I want to ask a follow-up, Will, if I could. Once again, we're talking to Will Stein, the co-founder and president of Phillip Stein. I want to ask you, in regards to COVID-19, how has the business model changed a little bit? You talked about how you sat down and kind of did a few things, but as far as like your team members and the company itself, what are some of those challenges you've been experiencing? What are some of those kind of other pivots you've been experiencing as we navigate through this world pandemic?
Well, it was a shock for us because within basically days, the business came to a standstill because, as I mentioned, our business is based on the retail industry.
Right.
And the retail industry was hit hard, and then the travel industry and the hospitality industry, all of these areas where we were, quite strong. Mm-hmm. So our focus is on the online business to expand our online platform, to educate through our online platform, and through, for example, also the Phillip Stein Club. But on the other hand, even though you have all these challenges, it also pushes you to become, again, more creative and not be just sitting there and waiting for the change to come. And we don't even know whether this change is ever going to be as we had it, and whether we will be able to live a life like we used to.
Right.
So one of the things which we are doing is the technology the technology arm of Phillip Stein is a company called NextQuest. It's NEXQUEST, nextquest.com. That's the technology side of Phillip Stein, where we do all of our research and development, where we work with research partners and etc. So one of the things which we're experiencing, or which we're experimenting right now with, is whether we can actually help to create a formula. Like, we have formulas for sleep, we have formulas for inner balance, we have formulas for energy, but to have a formula for boosting and strengthening the immune system. So we're working there with a very well-known institution, and we've got some preliminary results, very, very positive preliminary results. So this is something which we're looking into as well.
I heard that. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad you shared all that, because, there are many entrepreneurs out there, Will, as you very well know, they're looking to not only remind people that they're still in business, fortunately for those who still are. We know we kind of lost a few businesses due to this pandemic, but for those that are still open, they're still trying to find ways to not only let people know that they're still out there in business, but they're also trying to let people know, educate people. That was a key word that you used there, which I appreciate. They're trying to educate people on what they're doing new, or, re-educating people about, why they're there to serve them and stuff like that. So I appreciate you sharing all of that and being transparent, for sure, Will.
Yeah. And I think, especially in this time right now, when you have a great team, when you have a great, people in your company, you should sit down with them and discuss, what are the possibilities, and you should listen to everyone in the company, the receptionist, to the CFO, the COO, to everyone in the company. Maybe there is something which, we as CFO, as CEOs or presidents of the company don't even see. So I think there's always opportunities where there's challenges, there's always opportunities, and we just need to stay very positive in our attitude and find these opportunities.
I hear that. Thank you for sharing all of that, for sure. So I want to ask you this, Will, and we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up here. What's your entrepreneurial superpower, Will, and why?
I don't think I have an entrepreneurial superpower, but I have I would say, a vision. I always envision certain things and see how they come together. And to me, the most beautiful thing of building a business is starting from a white sheet of paper and putting down your vision, and then finding the right people to implement it. Because I'm more the person of using a white sheet of paper and putting down the vision and building the bigger picture and building the idea. But I'm not the best implementer in that sense.
Gotcha.
So that's why I try to surround myself with people who can implement these ideas. And that I think is the excitement of business, that it's not something which is, boring and always the same. It's again, as I mentioned before, you have challenges and now you have to overcome them. How can you overcome them? You need to think creatively. You need to think out of the box. You need to come up with strategies which may be new and also challenging, but you need to take the risk and you need to do it, in order to get where you want.
I hear that. And, Will, I appreciate another one of your transparency points here, because you talked about how, you're great at doing coming up with the idea, creating the idea with the white sheet of paper, but maybe not necessarily the best implementer. But so you rely on your team members and your teammates to do that. And I think that's critical, Startup Nation. Look, we don't have to be the smartest person in our business. We, as long as we're having the willingness to build and to kind of, go out there on faith in our idea and stuff like that, you bring on those right team members, you can still be a great company. You don't have to be the smartest person or the implementer, if you will. Not saying that Will's not smart, because he's super smart. But my point is that, you don't have to be the superstar in your business. So, Will, I appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. Because only this way, when you give people the platform that they can perform, I think then you have a great team.
Absolutely. So, before I ask the last question, I just want to say thank you to Will Stein, president and co-founder of Phillip Stein. Once again, that website is phillipstein.com. The link is in there in the show notes if you're listening to the replay on the podcast. So now I'm actually going to turn the microphone over to you, Will. You've given great advice. You've given us great content, and I really appreciate your time here on the Startup Life. But now I want to turn the microphone over to you, because there's an entrepreneur out there who, especially with everything going on right now, they're feeling a little, that doubt is starting to creep in, that, that motivation is kind of waning a little bit. Kind of share with us some words of encouragement to take us out for today.
Well, first of all, you need to sleep well. That's really the beginning of everything, because as you mentioned, Dominic, and I completely agree with you, if you don't have a good night's sleep, you are definitely not going to be creative the next day. You're definitely not going to perform the next day as you want to. So sleep is, of course, a very important part. But then also, first of all, I have the best ideas when I'm under the shower, because that's where all of the ideas come together.
Gotcha.
But I think you have to create certain rituals, because when you're, let's say, afraid of the current situation, when you're scared, when you're worried, you cannot have a very clear thought. That's why I believe you need to create certain rituals as a good and strong entrepreneur. You need to create certain rituals which, first of all, bring you into a balanced mode, into a mode that you now have clear thoughts. Now you can be creative. Now you can, work with your team in a harmonized and calm way. So I think that's very important, instead of just, running around like a chicken with a cut off head and trying to put out fires and all of this. So I know it's right now very, very difficult for most of the people. And, I feel terrible for restaurant owners, for example.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, here in California, they are starting to reopen restaurants. I know in other states they have already. But even when they reopen, we have to have the attitude that it will never be the same as it was. Gotcha. If we have that attitude, then we push ourselves always to be, again, more creative, to come up with new ideas, to come up with new concepts, which may be even better than the previous business that we had. And that's how we have to think. We have to think that there is another door which will open, and that door might even be better and more beneficial and more successful than the other one we were in.
I heard that.
So I think that's how we have to look at our businesses. That's how we have to look at our day. For example, one of my rituals is I meditate. I meditate every day, and then once I meditate, then when I get out of the meditation, then I can start my day. Of course, during the day, I do my workouts in order to keep fit and strong and healthy. So it's really a combination of body, mind, and soul. I know that's a cliche, but I think it's really that combination of body, mind, and soul that we have to cherish and take care of.
I heard that. Thank you so much. And that's going to wrap up our session with Will Stein, president and co-founder of Phillip Stein. If you want to let us know what you think about our show, have an idea for a show topic, or would like to advertise on our show, send us a message on the Startup Life Podcast Facebook page. And while you are there, like and follow our page as well. It's a great way for us to engage with you, Startup Nation, and really grow our community. The link is there in the show notes. Subscribe to the show as it can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, or even on your Facebook timeline or any other platform you like to get your podcast. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts and you find our content valuable, please give us a 5-star rating, as it will help us climb the charts and help more people find our show. You can also listen to the show on the Startup Life Podcast new website. There you will find the all-new startup blog where I write on many topics that are interesting and helpful to you on your path to entrepreneurship. And hey, if you have an idea, be about that life, the startup life.